Alright, good morning. Hey, this thing I think is actually going to work. Just installed this screen recording software for Windows. Not as good as the Mac software I use for this normally, but I'm on this new Windows machine now. So, thought I would, like I told you, show you the secret to that video that I fooled you with yesterday. So let's just remake it from scratch real quick. We're in After Effects, Adobe After Effects. We're going to import the video, the original video. The original one, untouched. Retouched. So that should be in this folder. Right here. So now we've imported that clip into the project. Let's go ahead and allocate that clip now from the project menu into our timeline as the first layer. Hit the space bar and play that. And you can see there's our moon. Let's jump ahead in the timeline. After Effects won't play video real time. Up here it's playing about 50% speed. It's got so much overhead in this program, it does other things, it can't really do it, and it's a raster. So anyway, I won't bore you with the details of why it won't play the simple video. What we can do, what I should do, is show you what the raw video looked like. Woodley Avenue, 6:21 p.m. Play it half size. Play. So here's our moon just starting to rise over the mountain. Here's our spot on our lens that I've now subsequently cleaned. I don't know how that got there. It wasn't there when I got it new. Be that as it may, so here's the moon. This wasn't a time-lapse photography deal. It was just a regular shoot. So, you know, if I scrub the video, this is where, boom, see, I adjusted the aperture wheel on the lens, trying to let more light in, and boom, I let too much light in here. A little too much light in. I kept adjusting the aperture, not the focus. Focus on infinity. But it's really actually quite dark. It's darker than this outside while I was photographing, and then so it's even darker out now. Everybody's got their headlights on. You can't see any of this really, but barely. And so that's why the only thing bright in the picture is now blown out. If I was to make it so you could see the detail in the moon, you wouldn't see anything but you wouldn't see much. The stars, it's not quite dark enough to see the stars yet, and you wouldn't be able to tell you wouldn't see the mountain anymore. You wouldn't tell the difference between the mountain and the sky. You could see the outline of the trees though. You might be able to pick up the cars. There might be a contrast between the trees and the cars, but because of the street lights aren't on yet, but they will be shortly. But anyway, so the street lights do come on right about here. Only one for some reason. So this is where it's really dark. And at 1420, by the way, somebody's working hard. Right about 10 seconds down the road here, 1410. At 1420, we find one of the hardest working individuals in the corporate world. Our friendly neighborhood UPS driver. In any case, so when you scrub through the video, thing is, there's no eclipse, because there was no eclipse the day I was shooting this, you see. Only eclipse, here's the only eclipse you're going to see, is me eclipsing the moon, but not the whole Earth. That's right, that's what I said. So as we progress, here comes the other street light. But I'm telling you, it's dark. It's real dark. But because of the scientific principles involved here, you can still see the mountain when I open up that aperture. And I open up that what we call shutter angle, so that the shutter is open as long as I can. I turn up the gain on the sensor so that it's ultra light. It also introduces some noise, but it's a trade-off. Everything's a trade-off in photography. So here's our flights taking off from Burbank Airport over here. What they do is they head east, then south, then west. They do a circle around the valley here, because they're on the end of the valley, that end. They're really trying to go off that way, east. So they have to come here towards LA, circle towards Hollywood, cut it short back towards Van Nuys, and then boom, back over Burbank, over Silmar, out over the desert and the mountains, out of California. So this is the circle they do. Not sure if this is the one that actually, I couldn't get any of them to actually eclipse the moon. This one flies over the moon. A few of them fly under. Oh, there he is. Our hard-working, couldn't get him to eclipse the moon. Another UPS truck. See, the UPS depot, or there's another one. See, I'm telling you, the distribution centers on Woodley down the street a few blocks. So they're up and down the street all fucking day long with these semis and these delivery trucks. Why in the fuck I don't get my UPS packages until after 4? I've never gotten a UPS package before 4, because they wait and they deliver the ones close to the home base last. They go out to the farthest points first, I think. They work their way back. It's fucked up. I get all their noise and none of their fucking perks. But anyway, it's the least of my problems. Back to this. So what do? We got this video here. Let me zoom in, show you the nature of the work involved. Zoom in to that moon. There he is. Kind of pick out the detail on these frames where I had initially set up the aperture and everything as perfect as you could. But as the sun sets and the moon rises, the lighting conditions change constantly, and I can't go into the menus and then be playing with the aperture on the the lens the whole time. So what do? I just go in there once in a while, and I also go in and post and change the exposure with Adobe Raw for Photoshop. But that's not the first thing we do. What are we going to do? I'll show you what we're going to do. First thing we have to do is create another layer. A new solid layer. We're going to want it to be red. So let's choose red. And let's choose over here a nice grade of red. A nice, maybe that's not dark enough red. Let's look for some darker reds. Maybe in here. It's probably fine. So the hue is 0. There we go. I mean, it's really not that important. Now we have a nice red screen. We've got two layers, the red layer on top of the video layer. If we move the red layer underneath the video layer, well, now, what'd you do that for? Why'd you even create the red if you can't see it? I'll show you. So we go to our first frame, right here. The moon is barely visible. What do? Tell you what we do. Come in here and choose the pen tool. And click and drag. Drag the handles a little bit wider than the moon. Then we come over here and create a second point at the bottom, knowing that we can create a circle with just 2 points if we're good. Drag that so that we create 2 handles. Create equally wide handles to create the first half of the circle. Boom. Then click to complete the circle. And there you go. Now we have a circle. Of course, I should have clicked on the layer first. I was on the wrong layer. Alright. What are you going to do? Undo is what you're going to do. And you do the same thing for the top layer, the video layer. That's what I meant to do. My bad. Alright, so now I've removed with this mask all the video except for the circle. What I really wanted to do was remove only the circle. Punch a hole in the video. The exact opposite. No big deal. No, I know what I'm doing. I wanted the mask to be inverted. And now I've done so. Just by clicking the invert mask button. So now my video has a hole in it. Click here and you can see the red layer underneath. And if I make that invisible, you can see the black emptiness below that. But if we make the red layer visible, now the moon turns blood red. It's a blood red moon, alright. But anyway, we go back to our normal framing. There's our little blood red moon. We're on the first frame. But see, what happens is, as we go later in the video, now we've still got the hole in the video, but the moon is moved. It moves. So what do? We need to animate the hole by animating the mask. So alright, let's look at the properties. The mask has a path, and with this time, the stopwatch, this little stopwatch icon, if you click it, it creates a keyframe for that object and records that that mask is at this place and this time, and now I can animate it in time. Well, nothing's changed. The mask still stays there. But if I come out here in time and I create another keyframe here, boom, now I have two keyframes. Well, of course what I really wanted to do is go to the end. Oh, won't be necessary. This is only half. I actually had 2 videos. For it to go out of frame, I had to patch 2 videos together. I stopped recording in the middle so that I made 2 small videos instead of the big one. Anyway, so for demonstration purposes, we'll just go to here. We created a keyframe. Let's go back to that keyframe, exactly to that frame. And let's change our position for the hole. Now it's a little tricky. I don't have a whole lot of real estate. So let's find the hole first. There it is. There's our hole. This has to be done with some finesse. So I move the screen. Then I can move the mask up to where the moon is. And now my hole isn't big enough. So let's zoom in some more and enlarge it. Go back to our pen tool. Hit the Alt key and drag our handles wider. At the same time, bring our points, our control points, up and down equally so that we have a hole. Perfect. Let's go back to the original keyframe. Let's go down to where our hole was, and we see, yep, it's covering just fine. So now let's look at the whole thing again. There's our hole, and if we play it now, the hole moves with time. Here, let's do it like this. Go backwards. That's not perfect, so I use the rule of halves. Go in between, exactly in between these 2 keyframes. Zoom in again. Go back, hit the Alt key. First hit the mask. Now we're back looking at the mask. And actually, all we really may need to do here is just adjust the position of the mask. There's our mask selected. And now, whoops. There's our mask path selected. I mean, whoops. Did it again. Got to choose the pointer. Oh. There we go. I think No, I'm having trouble moving this object. Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat, I can tell you that. The mask, first of all, we're going to gotta create a keyframe here. I'll tell you that much. No, can't do it that way. Alright, what we can do is change the position manually. We don't want to change that. Let's undo that. Okay. Okay. A little bit tricky here. The mask. I'm sorry about this. A little rusty on After Effects. So what do we do? Oh yeah, I think this is what we do. We click on the object, and then, no, that's not how it is. Click on the mask. There we go. Now I can arrow down. There we go. Arrow down, arrow to the right. I don't know why it wouldn't let me just drag it, but I can use these controls, and then I can go back to my pen tool, alt click, make sure it's the right width, big enough to be, gotta make sure it's big enough. It's all very time consuming, as you can see. Quite time consuming, but now it's not round. To make it round, you got to make a square. There we go. If you make a square with these 4 points and you keep these 2 lines parallel, you'll have yourself a nice circle. So just make sure that these 2 points are in the right place, and then like I just showed you. So now the whole has 3 keyframes: beginning, the middle, and the end. We're telling the whole exactly how big to be and where to be, and letting the computer determine how big to be and where to be at all of these other points that aren't keyframed. They're just normal frames. And what that lets you do is just control the positions for just 3 simple places. And I may have to go in here in the middle of the first and the second. Like I say, I always go in the middle of 2 keyframes and do it again, because it's not looking quite right there. This will be the last adjustment. This looks like the only problem area now. So again, you click on the mask, add a keyframe, arrow down 5 pixels, arrow to the right 2 pixels. We're good. I think we're good. Now if we look at the whole thing again, from beginning, alright, well, we're going to have to do this one more time in the middle of these 2 keyframes, apparently. That's okay. One more time now. So we go in, no problem. Click on it, arrow down. Oops. Oh, I went down about 6 times. Ugh. Click on the mask first. That's what I forgot to do. Now you can arrow down, arrow to the right. We're looking good. And everything should look good now. the hole. Ugh. I don't know why this thing... It doesn't though, does it? We got to go in here one more time. One more time. And this is what post-production people do in Hollywood all day long. Is keyframing and rotoscoping for these big Marvel action movies and all these Disney movies. This is what they're doing. They're fucking around with keyframes all day. You'd be surprised. This is what most people in the credits of a movie are fucking doing. A lot of this stuff. Assistant editors, compositors, animators, rotoscopers. There's all kinds of names for doing it. They all do it in one form or another. They have different jobs, that's why they have different names, but they all do this kind of thing a lot. So here we go. We want that hole in that video to be the same size. We don't want to see that moon anymore. We don't want to see the moon. We want to put a hole in the video and then animate that hole so that we never see the moon. And we've done so. Now, when the moon gets luminescent and you start seeing luminosity beyond the diameter of the actual moon, you don't cover that up. You don't punch a hole in that. That's just the nature of light and the vibrance of it, the luminosity. So we leave that alone. We leave the size of the hole pretty much alone here from now on. Okay, so that doesn't look like the video you posted yesterday. There's no red. It's a blood moon. Okay, yeah, maybe I should post this as the freaking blood moon. Now what you can do, if you really want to make it look like more like a blood moon, I'll show you some more tricks. You go into the opacity setting, hit T on the keyboard, T for opacity. Don't ask me why. But anyway, you can adjust the opacity of that. And here's something I want to do. Let's go back to the project. Here's the original video. Let's make a duplicate video in our timeline. We'll put it in below the red layer. Then we'll move the red layer below it. Now, we've still got the hole in the top layer. We've got the video here 2 times. One time with a hole, one time without a hole, and then a red layer that you can't see anymore at all below that. And so what happens here is now we're back to the beginning. Now the hole is revealing the original video. And you can't see the hole. You would never know there's a hole. It just looks like the original video. Well, now you just ruined. What did you do all that work for? Why did you create a hole and animate a hole if you're just going to put the video underneath the original video? Now it just looks like the original video. There's no changes. Are you a fool? Did you go do all that work for nothing? Yeah, that's what I did. I did all that work for nothing. No. Now here comes the magic. Now we need to add one more layer. And we'll do another solid layer. This time we're going to want some black. A black layer. And we don't want it in the middle. What we do is we want this layer on the top. A nice black layer. And you're like, you might ask me, what the hell are you doing? Well, alright, that's fair enough. Well, I'll show you what. We're going to go ahead again and we're going to draw another circle. Check it out. We're going to first create a line, stretch it out, make it parallel to the floor. That's our first control point. It's got a Bezier control point, and we're creating Bezier curves. Higher mathematics and trigonometry and algebra allow us to do this. So now we're going to go the other way around from last time. There's our second Bezier control point. And that's looking pretty good. Now all we should have to do is single click and go ahead. We're not making a hole this time. What we've done now, yeah, that looks good. Boom. We created a black disc. What? Yeah. We created a black disc. Basically, because we've just masked out all the black. It's still there, it's just masked out. And if we make the layer invisible, then the black disc goes invisible. But because we masked it out, all we get is a black disc now. Now, it's probably too big, but it's there. So let's change the position. Now what we want is right about here. This is what we do know. Right about here, we want that black disc to start invading into the moon. Now we'll keep that disc real big like it is. We'll just go ahead and exaggerate things for illustrative purposes. Let's adjust the position now in time. So first we're going to adjust things in time. That means, and it's going to be position wise. So we're going to go to position and we're going to click on the stopwatch to let the computer know we want to start animating this property in time. That creates the first keyframe here. Now, let's adjust so that the disk is up right about there, and actually right about there, here. So now, with one keyframe, it really doesn't do much yet. That disk will just stay there for the whole video. But you can see it does cover the moon as the moon passes under it. Okay, well that's not exactly what we want at all. No, it's not. We're getting there though. Now we go back to that keyframe. Like I said, at this point in time we want that disk to be right about here. And we're going to have an eclipse. So we want the eclipse to last, about that long. We want the thing to be over by here. So now by animating this disk, let's create another keyframe right here. Now all we have to do is at this position, let's have the disk be right about here. So we'll have it go to the right and then up, maybe a little bit to the left, and that's about right. So now we're good. Now we go to the end. Let's create another keyframe. And let's have the position we want this thing out of the way. We want it out of frame too. We want it out of here so it never gets in the way again. So there it is. So now we're looking pretty good. You have to take my word for it for now, but I'll demonstrate here. There's the end. So back to the beginning. Play it, and the moon passes underneath the disc. Then right about here, the disc starts invading into the moon, starts covering up the moon, completely covers the moon, passes over it, then starts revealing the moon again, much like an eclipse, stays out of the way, and then moves up out of frame. Okay, well that still doesn't look like an eclipse. And that damn disc is huge. It's bothering me. Alright, fair enough. Let's go. Fair enough. You don't like the size of the shaft. I could dig that. Well, that's the size of the shadows controlled by the size of the mask. We're not animating that, so I can come in here after I think we should zoom it. Whoop. Definitely going to need to zoom in. Alright. So what do we do? We do this. We want it to be about that tall. So therefore, we want to shorten things up substantially. It's still a little bit small. I mean big. Sorry. But this should take care of that. I'm doing a few things here. That will alleviate that problem and get us back into a circle. Good. The size is good. Now we need to be back on a keyframe. Make sure our position is good. Whoops. Done something now. It's the zoom. Fine. So now, yeah. Now our black disk is smaller, and it doesn't cover up the whole moon. It goes over it a bit. It never really occludes. What is the word? An occlusion? Well, anyway, let's make it a little bigger. Let's go back one more time. Now, this is what you do. This is the thing. Just like I was telling you. It's this perfectionist shit that they have to go through. Boy, do they. Whoops. Control Z. Option click this thing. There we go. Make it a little bigger. Just a little bit. Just a little bigger. Now, and let's adjust the position. Just a little bit. There we go. Just on that one keyframe. Go back. Yeah, that's a pretty good. Still doesn't cover up the whole moon, but pretty close, kind of like a real eclipse. But the shadow is not an object. The shadow would only appear over the moon when it's over, you know, this is not a shadow. How do you make it so that that black disk is invisible? We only want to see that black disk when it's covering the moon, not all this other stuff. That's the whole trick, and that's why we did all that work. That's why we did, or I did, the work that was involved creating a hole in the first video, and then animating that hole, then creating a duplicate copy of the video and putting it underneath. I've got two duplicate videos. The top one has a hole. So imagine we're making a sandwich. We've got two pieces of bread. The bottom piece of bread's intact, but we're going to punch a hole in the top piece of bread so that we can see what's inside the sandwich. Alright, well, we've done that. We've got the bottom piece of bread. We've got the top piece of bread with a hole in it. Here's the bottom piece of bread. Here's the top piece of bread. We've got it on top of some ketchup. Alright, yeah, this is what we did. Remember, now if we put the ketchup in the middle of the sandwich, and that's what we got here, right? Here's our sandwich. These bottom three layers, the top video with the hole in it, the red ketchup covering the the bottom piece of bread. And what we see from the top view is our top piece of bread and ketchup. Only there, though. We can't see the rest of the ketchup because the top piece of bread is covering it. We can't see the bottom piece of bread because the top piece of bread and the ketchup covered. Alright. Let's move our ketchup underneath the sandwich. So now we can see the bottom piece of bread where the hole is. Now it looks like normal bread. Can't tell the difference between the top piece of bread and the bottom piece of bread. They look the same in 2D. If it was 3D, you'd see some shadows and stuff. But anyway, so here's the thing. If we make the top layer visible again, there we have this black dot on top of our sandwich. It's like a fly moving around on top of our sandwich. What's this fly doing on my plate? And now it's chasing after my... What's this fly doing? Waiter! Waiter! What's this fly doing in my sandwich? Sir, that's not a fly, that's a shadow. Alright, well, whatever. What we do is we want that shadow or that fly in our sandwich. We want it in the sandwich where the ketchup used to be. So we drag the top layer and we put it between the two video layers. And we create a sandwich. Now, when we play the video, there's our moon as normal, and we get to a certain point and we have some weirdness going on. Okay, so here's what's going on here. We're going to have to make some changes here. The moon moves into the shadow here. That's a problem. Now the rest of the video will be fine, so I'll have to fix that. Now we'll start an eclipse right about here. Oh, the shadow's not quite right. The shadow is appearing where the moon isn't, but we'll have to make some changes there to perfect it too, like I did when I made the original video. But you can see back and forth we basically have an eclipse going on. We're animating the hole in the top piece of bread. You can't do that with a real sandwich. You can only make a hole and it's going to be there forever. But with the computer I can animate a hole so that I can kind of create an eclipse here. Now yeah, this is a problem down here and I could get rid of it. I'll show you how real quick. What we do is we go and deal with the opacity or the visibility, let's say, of that layer. So what we're going to do is we're going to say we don't want that thing visible at all. At all. Until here. So we go to our opacity, we say we're going to start animating. We're going to start animating here. So we're going to say right here we want 0 opacity. Then we're going to move 1 frame forward. See how that car jumped 1 frame forward? Well, it did. Let's zoom in on the timeline here. Let's create another keyframe. 1 frame over, like I say. Then we change the opacity of that disc back to 100%. And that's it. Boom. We made that disc disappear in the video until that one point. So yeah, there's no more problem with that disc appearing before we want it to. Right about here, the disc is a little too big. Right about here, we start getting an eclipse because the disc is too big. It looks a little weird, but I could adjust that too. And then pretty much it's the hole, actually. You can see it's the hole that's the problem, not the disc. Wouldn't see the disc if the hole wasn't so big. So right about here, that's what I should do. We go to the top layer of bread, we go to the mask. We've already animated that. So what do? We change the size of the hole. If we wanted to. I mean, we could make it a little smaller. Let's just go to the next keyframe here. Let's go to that layer, to the next keyframe. Let's select that keyframe. Let's zoom in. And there it is. The hole is way too big, so we'll adjust that. We'll adjust these things. First of all, we make the hole smaller. Then we make sure we have both control points selected, and we can up arrow, right arrow, whoops, down arrow. And we only want to cover the moon. We don't want, whoops, we don't want anything but the moon whoops anything but the moon covered up there. Alright, so now we're actually starting to look pretty good here. You get tempted to start working with the disc, but all we're trying to do is make sure that the moon is perfectly covered. There we go. At that point. And that should take care of it. That actually should take care of all the problems. But let's see. So there's our hole. You can kind of see it when you zoom in. No. See, the hole's too big. The hole's fine here, but the hole's too big elsewhere. I'll try to wrap up this video here, but what we're going to do is we're going to go one more time. We're going to adjust the control point. This keyframe, we're going to go and do that same thing. We're going to pick our object. We're going to choose both Bezier points. We're going to move the object. Uh-oh. Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem. The two videos are offset. The position of the two videos is different. Alright. This happens sometimes. When you're working, you make a little mistake here and there. So what we have to do is we have to look at the position of our two videos. 960 and 544.5 for this one compared to 960 and 540, which is what it should be. Alright, so there's your problem. The top layer got changed to 545 somehow. Now they're the same. That was the problem. That was a mistake made at some point. It happens, pretty common mistake. You got to be pretty careful with all these parameters. So now the mask adjustment that I just made to that other keyframe could be all screwed up. Let's go back and look at that. How's our mask here? Our mask, oops, it's looking pretty good actually. Let's go back to that last keyframe then. This one. And this is where we're almost done. Okay, so now, yeah, just this keyframe, that should do it. Let's select our object. Whoops. I said select the object. Pick both keyframes. Come down. Go to the right. And now make the circle smaller. There we go. That's what we wanted. Yeah. Yeah. That's the ticket. Now that's how occlusion is supposed to take place. Bingo. Now we should feather this mask. Forgot to mention that. So here's the feathering part. Oh. Just a little bit of feathering on that. Bingo. And the opacity. You don't want it just perfectly dark. Bring down the opacity just a bit. Boom. There. Then, oh, whoops, wrong adjustment. Undo that. There we go. Undo that. Whoops. See, this is what happens. We're not going to feather the mask after all. No, that's not what you feather. The feathering is done to this thing. Well, first opacity. So we can make the shadow, it doesn't have to be perfectly black. Let's make it 76% black. See, that looks better. Maybe 62%. That's even better. So there we go. Now feathering might be a little difficult here. I don't think there actually is a parameter to feather. Oh yeah, there is. This is a mask too. Here we go. We'll feather it like 3 pixels. Maybe, yeah, 4. 4 pixels of feathering gives you a nice soft edge. And bingo, that should do it for the whole video. You should be able to let's go to 50%. Actually, I think that's fine. Yep. So now, play the video. Moon rises. Things get overexposed at this point, but that's okay. It's ultimately the moon's gonna be overexposed ultimately when it gets darker anyway. And then right about here, we have a phenomenon, an eclipse. The Earth's shadow moves over the moon, and you can visibly see it. Wow. So that is an eclipse. I could now render a video. I could go out here, composition, add Adobe, add to the render queue. I create a video. Oops. Hold on here. Back to our timeline. So yeah, like I said, come over here. Now that's gone ahead and created a new item. I can choose my settings. So yeah, here's my settings to create a video for YouTube or whatever. Got a bunch of presets in here. Actually, so let's see. If I choose H.264, go into the presets, there's all kinds of stuff for the Androids, I thought there was more than this. I thought that there was a YouTube, just about positive. Anyway, in different situations it gives you different options. Okay. But yeah, for YouTube, I would choose H.264. I would just match the source. YouTube could take pretty big files. I would say there's no audio, give it a name and a place to put it. I might change the work area, this kind of thing. But anyway, this is how you would render out the video. It would take about 10 minutes to create a video, and then you could post it. It takes another 10 minutes to post it on YouTube or email it or whatever your delivery options are. But the video is basically done here in After Effects. Here it is again, eclipse of the moon. And or like I said, you could put the blood back in there. Blood moon. Oh, that's really bloody too, right? So like we did before, you wouldn't want it to be that bloody. You change the opacity. There you go. Change the opacity. Now you got an eclipse of a blood moon. Kind of. We'd have to do something with that blood up about here. Get rid of it. So what do? You create a keyframe here at 100% or 45%, where you keep it where it's at. Then you go down one more space, one frame, create another keyframe, 0 opacity. Well, actually, maybe that's a little too close. I think we can drag this keyframe yes we can with the Alt key. It's tricky. There we go. A couple frames more. So now what will happen is that blood red will disappear. Maybe a little too fast. Yeah, definitely too fast. So let's zoom in a bit. Find these two keyframes. Oh, they're basically right on top of each other. Right? Oh, it's so hard to work at this level. It's almost impossible to zoom in that much. Alright, there it is. The top keyframe, we're going to spread it out about there so that the blood red gradually disappears. Gradually. Maybe even more gradually. Gradually. Even more gradually. There we go. So that the blood red gradually disappears between here and here. And that's it. That actually, now you've got a full-fledged fake video. Not enough to go viral. Don't get me wrong. This ain't no damn viral video. It's not that good. It's not even really good. It's just good practice. It's all good practice because this is the stuff you do. This is the kind of work. This exact same kind of work is exactly what you do to create the higher end special effects. Is just more work, more parameters. Take you 8 hours of this same kind of tweaking to create a really cool effect. This is something real simple you can do in a short amount of time. How long have I been talking an hour, not even an hour, I'm sure, but I'm done now. So we'll come over here, we'll close down the program, come over here. Yep, an hour and 5 minutes, and we'll stop recording.